Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dunk, and this is an update video. We're gonna get right into it. So it's been a little while since the last update. I've done a lot of bug fixes with this. Was working on a few features that ended up having to be postponed due to some of the bug fixes I want to get out, because those would have taken weeks longer to work on. But I've also added a few new things in this update, and so we're going to take a look at all of that. So I think to start, I want to talk about furs. So let's look at what we have down here. We have large bear fur, medium wolf fur. I should note that wolves will now drop medium furs almost always instead of small furs. I just felt like that's more balanced, especially for the things that you use furs for. And we have just this large fur here. So this sort of not bear, not wolf type of fur can be dropped by deer and mouflon. Mouflon being wild sheep. Those are the only two animals that can currently drop it. And you can make a generic sort of fur clothing out of it, so that's another type of clothing that we can make. But I want to talk about some of the changes. So previously, if you wanted to make the bear head hat, you would take your bear fur, you'd cut out the shape of the head, and then you'd sew it together, and that would be the bear fur hat. But I decided that didn't really make much sense. Like, why are you sewing it together? Why are you cutting it out if it's just the head of the bear? So instead, we take our large bear fur, take a knife, and we just cut it off of the fur, and that gives us back a large bear fur scrap. So this scrap here has the same function as the large bear fur, so you can still craft all the same stuff out of it. It's just that you can't get a bear fur hat out of it. You can convert it directly into a large hide though, and I'm going to do that right now. So if you do try to make clothing with this bear fur here, you can still do it, but you'll get scrap back. So if you do want to get the hat, you do have to do that first. So as long as you have bear furs, you can get the hats out of it. Some bears will only drop a bear fur scrap, so it's currently 50-50 whether or not you get the complete fur or just a scrap. And so that determines whether or not you get a free hat out of it. With that though, we do have, so we still have these bear fur hat pieces. So you notice I actually have two of these now. I cut that large bear fur and we got a medium and a small back. So what that means is that each large fur or hide or whatever gets you basically 4 uses out of it instead of just 3. So that means that a single bear will be able to make an entire coat, whereas previously you'd need to kill at least 2 bears to make a coat, which I felt was not that great. Anyway, so we have these bear fur hat pieces, and if we put them up here, you can see we have this kind of hat. I don't have a needle right now, but yeah, so there is kind of like a generic looking hat, doesn't have the fancy bear head on it, and of course it does require a use of making clothing, but it is kind of like the backup if you just don't happen to get a proper fur, you only get scraps off your bears, and you want to make a hat. That's how you can do it. You may notice the cold resistance on these the bear fur and wolf fur clothing has been buffed on the hat and the boots, and that is because I want it to be better than the generic fur. So the bear fur hat is now a cold resistance of 2. The generic fur will be a cold resistance of 1. So that is, I think that's a good change to have. I think that adds a little more nuance to it that is interesting. It is nice to have a source of fur that you don't have to fight something so dangerous for. I have updated the attacking code of the animals, so if you've been following my series, you would have seen how wolves are really not great right now, or previously they weren't great. You'd attack them and they just sort of sit there and look at you and maybe inch towards you. So now they'll rush you. If you're holding a weapon in your hand or an item and you're looking at them to attack them, they'll try and dart to your side and get you from an angle where you can't hit them. So I think that kind of, because I felt at first when they just charged you head on, it felt kind of weird. So they will try and, like, if you have like a weapon in your hand, they'll try and get out of out of your sight and then attack you. So that can be pretty dangerous. So now that we have that, let's talk about something that I think was, or personally, was kind of a more radical change. You know, okay, yeah, we have this small bear for scrap. I actually want, I want some more small, I want some more small furs. So, let's get a small rawhide. Another small rawhide. And that is because there is something I want to show you guys. So let's see, I have this freshwater barrel in my bag and on my back, and you know, I can place it down, but if I place it on top of the fire pit, it does something a little interesting. So I'm gonna throw some logs in here and light it. Okay, so now that's going. Oop. Let's open this up. We put our rawhides in here, we seal it, and you can see output slime ball. So this is kind of like a totally new type of barrel recipe. So this will work with vessels that are over top of a lit fire pit. I have it currently set to happen way faster than it normally would, about 10 times faster. So that would normally take 4 in-game hours. Instead it was quite fast. You can see we got some slime balls out of it. And that is interesting. So I mean, that will allow people to craft sticky pistons, but there is a new recipe that requires slime balls, so I wanted to grab those. Okay, and so to look at that recipe, we're going to take some horn, some sinew, some string, this unstrung bow. Alright, first thing I want to do is take this horn and my knife, we convert it to a blowing horn, we convert that into strips of horn. We're going to put the strips of horn there, a slime ball, and our unstrung bow, and that makes us an unfinished composite bow. We'll put our unfinished composite bow back, 2 pieces of sinew, it's important that it's sinew, and our other slime ball, we get an unstrung composite bow, and then we take any sort of string, not sinew though, and we can make a composite bow. So that is a new recipe. The composite bow is a lot more powerful than the regular bow. It will fire about 20% faster, like it'll charge up the fire, and it can do up to twice as much damage as a regular bow, so that's kind of a cool thing. To get the horns, it's currently a 25% chance for 2 horns to drop when you kill an adult male cow. That's how you get those. And you know, that blowing horn we saw, if you didn't know, that is an instrument. You can just right click and it blows, makes a sound. Not that useful, but if that's something that you want to have, I would consider like adding drinking horns later. That sounds kind of cool as well. So yeah, so we have those. Another thing that we have in here is that we have some mortar and we have some smooth phyllite. So up until now, the stone bricks in Minecraft have used a texture that is like the stone bricks in vanilla. Meaning that, like, you know, each block has 2 big stone brick chunks in it. And I felt like that, I don't know, like that doesn't really mirror how people built in the past. I didn't want to get rid of that sort of block. So now, if you want to make that block, you got to use smooth stone. So we have smooth phyllite here, and that makes 8 of these. So that's just, you know, so if you want to, you still want to have blocks with this old texture, that's how you do that. I think it makes more sense that it would be smooth stone. And we do get 8 from that recipe just because smooth stone's a little harder to get than the little bricks that you can craft from the rocks. These like chalk bricks here. But as you may have guessed, that means that we need a new block, or an old block, for what this will look like. And oh, that's the wrong pattern. This is how we do it. So let's take a look at this. So that makes chalk bricks. And of course, is it like, yeah, we can make a wall and we can make a chimney. You can make chimneys, and so let's, now that we have that, let's take a look at what all these look like. So, we have this block here. I think that looks pretty nice, and so obviously, there's one of these for each of the different types of rock. We have chimneys, and we have walls. So I think that looks pretty good. And then, of course, the one last thing is we now have clay bricks. So, in fact, I don't have any clay on me. Whoa. I don't want Game Boy 2. Let's actually get some fire clay as well, just to demonstrate that. So this is how you make a brick. And this is now how you make a fire brick. Yeah, so you just fire the clay bricks and you get these items. Unlike vanilla, we do need mortar. But we do get 8 of them instead of the 4 that you'd get. I made it 8 because I wanted it to feel like a little bit like maybe you'd want to build with these instead of with like these blocks. Let's just take a look at what that looks like. I think they look quite nice. Yeah, if you want to have like a red brick house, you can use these blocks. You want to have like a stone brick house, you can use these blocks. You want to have like a thick stone brick house, you can use these blocks. I think it's pretty nice. In terms of bug fixes, there's a lot. Like I said, I fixed how animals attack. I fixed some crashes, especially with like sewing with a bone needle. What else? I've made it so that if you have a nearly broken axe and you try to chop down a tree, it's not going to take the whole tree down. That was a bug. It'll only chop some branches at the top. There's a number of other like crashes and fixes. I'll try and put a full list of that in the changelog on CurseForge. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys have fun with the new features. I've been working hard. Hopefully, I'll get some more episodes of TerraFirmaCraft out, playing with my brother soon with this new update. And I'll see all you guys next time.